We are back with our weekly chat with Jason Mackey on the Pirates YouTube channel, getting into the Buccos, their trip this week to the West Coast against the Los Angeles Angels, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Lots to dig through, Jason, especially with regard to Andrew McCutchen, his dissatisfaction with his playing time, lineup construction. So excited to get into that with you. Before we do, just want to thank our sponsor. It is Greenewalt Roofing Company. Hey, Pittsburgh, when you think of great roofs, you think of Greenewalt Roofing Company. With over 20 years of experience, they know how your roof is your home's first line of defense against rain, wind, snow, and ice. That's why Greenewalt Roofing's standard for perfection is so important. You can trust that their team of experienced installers will treat your property like it's their own. When it comes to roof replacements, Greenewalt Roofing is Pittsburgh's only choice. Visit greenewaltroofing.com today or call 412-314-8882 to schedule your free estimate. PA contractor number 36262. Okay, Jason, Andrew McCutchen spoke openly on this homestand about the inconsistency in his playing time, how he's not thrilled with it, how he'd rather run the wheels off for whatever time he has left in the big leagues. He gets that chance on Tuesday night in the lineup, hits a 3-run homer, the Pirates win. He still looks to me, Jason, like the most professional hitter in this lineup, a guy who is, someone that pitchers have to contend with, which you can't say, I think, for most of the guys in this lineup. So what is your read on that whole situation? We just spent some time talking about the Penguins and doing right by those legends. Are the Pirates handling this legend correctly?
No, I don't think they are, Adam. I'd like to see them handle Kutch differently. I agree with everything you just said. He's been one of the most professional hitters, best hitters in their lineup. As long as he's healthy, he should be playing. I don't understand why we're worrying about July and August in April, especially when things have been going as poorly as they have. Andrew McCutchen should be in your lineup more often than not. This was probably an underplayed PR nightmare and a month full of them for the Pirates, or more than a month. But why was he not in the lineup on Paul Skenes' bobblehead night? Why was that even allowed? In the 7th inning, when you need a pinch hitter, a right-handed pinch hitter, why are they going to Alexander Canario? I mean, just terrible decisions. Andrew McCutchen should be playing. Again, I understand that Kutch is, 38 now. I understand that his body doesn't feel great every day. If Kutch is saying, like, look, I don't have my best, I can't go, I need the slower, like, hey, man, not going to begrudge him at all. I'm a couple years older, I feel it. But if he's saying, run my wheels off, if he looks good at the plate, if he looks good in the field, if he's helping the team win, I don't understand this. Everybody play matchups, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's placing analytics in front of feel, a term often used in baseball. And I think the Pirates sometimes lack that. I think they lack that with this decision. So, yeah, I don't like it one bit. They need to have Kutch in the lineup more. We saw last night what can happen when they do.
How much do you think he has left? Because part of the comment, he made was, if this is it, do you think this is it for him, or his right where he should be statistically compared to the last couple of years with the Pirates? Nothing has super changed in that regard. I think it all comes down to how he feels and how he looks. When you hear him say something like run the wheels off me, does that sound like he intends to retire after this season? Or do you think that the Pirates are somewhat looking for, can you get another year out of him if you preserve him in 2025?
Yeah, I think this is it. I do. I don't know if Kutch knows that. I don't know if he thinks that's that far ahead. I think that's why he's saying it, though. I think he's saying that because he doesn't want to have any regrets. He wants to play. He wants to win. I do think it's really important for him to leave the Pirates better than he found it and have the narrative surrounding them be a positive one. I think, like any player of his status, he thinks that he can have a lot positive to say toward that. So I think when it finishes, Adam, I think this is probably the last year of Andrew McCutchen. I don't think he's going to do a farewell tour or something like that. I mean, the Pirates, I do understand their situation with designated hitter, and they're going to need some more flexibility there. It would help. I mean, he's helped them by playing another position and playing it well. I have some doubts whether he can do that in May, June, July, and August and continue it all the way through and maintain his health. But for right now, it's been fine. I don't see this working for another year, and mainly because I have some doubts about the past couple of years and Andrew McCutchen's injuries and that sort of thing. And maybe what the Pirates are doing are trying to, prevent Andrew from himself or something like that. Of course, he thinks he can play, but Yeah, I don't see this working beyond this year. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he keeps playing. It's a pleasure to watch him. But my time around Andrew, that's an interesting comment to make, to say, run it till the wheels fall off. He always talks about his health in the long game or whatever, and he seems unconcerned about the long game, maybe because he's thinking about how important it is for the Pirates to win now.
Jason, you referenced the lineup construction and how it changes almost every night. I'm on one hand, I am an analytics guy. I tend to think that it's a one-on-one game, and where you hit in an order shouldn't matter. You should be taking a similar approach, based on what the situation is every time. But there are baseball people, like you said, that talk about feel and value the consistency of hitting in a particular spot in the lineup. What's the proper balance in your eyes? Is it running the same lineup out there at least 3 times a week, and maybe you switch up with some getaway day games and things of that nature? Where is the balance for you?
I think the balance is knowing your team. And I think the balance is knowing what guys like, where they feel comfortable, where they produce. I wrote this in a column, and I believe it. There's no reason why you would look at Oneil Cruz and his power and all that stuff and say he should hit leadoff. But you know what? Where he was hitting, he wasn't getting a lot of lineup protection. Now he's getting it with Brian Reynolds. And that's not necessarily an analytics thing. That's how he's being pitched to, because they don't want to put him on base, because then they have to worry about him stealing, and then they have Reynolds at the plate. So they're trying to pitch to him and find ways to get him out. He's getting better pitches to hit. There's also the intangible thing, and I agree with you a lot about analytics. Believe me, I am pro analytics. I'm a former math major. I love that part of the game. I think it should be quantified. I think it has a place. I also am a former baseball player, and I get you just like what you like sometimes, man. And Oneil Cruz likes hitting in the one spot. It feels empowering to him. And I would respect that if I'm the manager. And I don't think any player likes bouncing around this much. So, sketch something out, try to stick with it, at least 1 through 5. I understand if you're an 8 hitter, you're probably going to be a platoon guy with somebody. But your lineup shouldn't be entirely different every single game. If you can get a set 1 through 5, and then 6 through 9, those are the guys you're kind of rotating and seeking matchups for. I get it. But theoretically, you would hope that your offense is good enough that you can just write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it sticks. I think the Pirates are it's coming from a place of care, right? They're trying to look for every possible advantage. If a guy's better against the lefty, they're going to bat him higher than they otherwise would, blah, blah, blah. But I think that comes at the expense of what players think about their psyche and how comfortable they feel. So, the balance is having a feel for your team and who has it and who likes what and who can handle jockeying around in different positions and who can't.
Jason, Paul Skenes, the Pirates lost another one of his starts this past weekend on bobblehead day. What's a stat like that do for the myth building around this team? Because when we talk about, when we're sitting there in spring training, we say, man, you're going to be able to win every 2, at least every 5th night with Paul Skenes. You're going to do a similar thing with Mitch Keller. So then really the team comes down to winning that 3rd game, each turn through the rotation, whether you're going to succeed or not. But they're not consistently doing it when Paul Skenes does start. How big of a problem is it that they've had trouble finishing, not just last season, but into this season, on nights that Paul Skenes, maybe he hasn't been at his absolute best so far this season. Maybe he's learning to pitch a little bit more than just blowing guys away. But for the most part, he's been solid, and the Pirates have not lived up to the deal often enough.
Yeah, what did they – I want to say they've won 11 of his 28 starts or something. I forget.
I think it's 17. I think the team record is 17-11, which is good.
Go.
It's good.
It's not as good as you would like, given how well he's pitched. It's the best ERA in baseball since he made his debut. It's a problem. I think it's a pretty significant problem, Adam, especially if you look at their rotation at the back end of it. They're trying to shoehorn Carmen Mlodzinski into a spot. I don't like it. I'd rather see him be a reliever. Bailey Falter goes out after 4 last night with low back tightness. That's not a good sign. Who knows what happens? Thomas Harrington was good as a piggyback in his last time out, but his first start wasn't great. They need all the certainty they can get. And Paul Skenes on the mound should be a winnable game for them. Mitch Keller on the mound, Andrew Heaney, the way he's throwing the ball, those should be winnable games for them. We've said this for the Pirates for years. Since you and I were little kids. If you make the plays you should make, do the things you should do. Don't create undue pressure on yourselves. And the Pirates are masters at that, about creating problems that didn't exist. Like, you have to be able to play well and win the majority of Paul Skenes starts, more so than 17 and 11. So yeah, it's a problem because they're missing layups with that stuff, and they don't have the depth, they don't have the back end of the rotation stuff to make up for it.
Jason, end the show on this. The sell the team chants got very loud on Saturday at PNC Park. Is this the most intense pressure Bob Nutting's ever been under from the fan base? And do you think he feels it? Perhaps not enough to spend the money or actually sell the team, but enough to apply some urgency, not just on this current front office, but whatever might follow it. Like, is there an appetite on his part for another 6-year rebuilding job? Or are they going to look at it more like the Penguins have? I think I maybe made this allusion on Twitter, 2016 to 19, where it didn't work out, but you were at least trying to win every year rather than rip it to the studs and build back later.
Yeah. Let me try to unpack that as I remember it. But I do think there's an appetite to win now for Bob to a degree. Now, I always couch that with it's got to be on his own terms. He doesn't spend as much as anybody would like. It's not an endorsement. I'm just saying that he thinks they should be winning. So if you're asking me what I think he thinks, it's that. I don't think they want to go back to a full rebuild. I don't think that's anywhere in the thought process. I think Bob thinks that he went through all of this. And to a degree, I understand where he's saying, where you say, we're going to lean into drafting, development, doing things differently, look at best practices from other small market teams. And if I'm Bob, I'm going to say, look, why are the Guardians are doing this? The Rays are doing this. Why don't we have that? Why aren't we seeing the guys that we drafted? Why am I not seeing them out on the field producing? The guys that we sign internationally, that we have the same access to as other people, why am I not seeing that? So I take that back to your first question, Adam, and how Bob thinks about this. He's not happy. I think it's all a matter of how much time do I give these guys to figure it out. I think you think a certain way. I think a certain way. That time has passed. It's long past. These guys have gotten more runway than they deserve. Bob does not operate like that, and it's a shame. I think one of many criticisms you could levy on him is that he's been entirely too patient. It was the same thing with the regime in 19. He waited too long for that one. He's waiting too long for this one. I worry about how deep the hole is now, let alone if this hole gets deeper over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I think Bob probably has a lot of people in his ear. They're looking very acutely at this. I don't take it for granted that he stepped in the way he did with the Bucco bricks and with the Skenes bobbleheads and all this stuff. I mean, we've seen it, granted, not as much as anybody would like, but when this regime tried to take Brian Reynolds to arbitration, it was Bob Nutting who stepped in and fixed it. When the Brian Reynolds contract situation reached an impasse, it was Bob Nutting who stepped in and fixed it. The fact that things are so off course right now for this group and they're not doing a lot of stuff they should do well, I do expect Bob Nutting to step in and fix it. I mean, maybe it course corrects. I don't think it will, but I don't think it'll be long before Bob acts if this continues.
Well, and it's not something I think, Jason, that can course correct over a good week or two. I don't think the sell the team chants are going to disappear if you win, 7 out of 10, something like that.
Adam, I don't know if they're going to correct if he fires everybody. People are just mad. I've maintained that nothing's going to change unless they win. But the only way you can win is to get better, smarter people who are executing a better plan in here.
Right. But it's going to take months of good play, not just a couple of weeks. And that is, I think, the position that he's in, where even if you have a solid run through May or something, it's not going to change the pressure that is being applied to you by the fan base that is angry and rabid and needs to see a lot more. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Jason, any final thoughts for the week before we sign off here?
No, just excited for the draft. I've really come to love this. As a baseball writer, I didn't get into it as much because I was busy. As a columnist, I can get into it a lot. I'm looking forward to our live draft stream. Always a fun event. I like kind of making that a tradition and pouring into what happens. Good times, man.
Yes. So we will be at Mike's Beer Bar. We will be starting Thursday at 8 p.m. Friday. We're going to see how things go in terms of, when the Steelers are picking. If they only stay at 83, we might start a little bit later than if they add a pick in the second round somehow. So subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Help us out in our YouTube algorithm. But please plan to check out that Steelers draft show. We're excited to bring it to you. And we will talk to you all again real soon.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.